Handing out food, blankets, and clothing has been part of the American military mission in Afghanistan and Iraq since the beginning of the two wars. But charity now comes with a price. Soldiers of the 161 Cavalry Squadron in Zormat, Afghanistan, are giving out blankets and coats only to Afghan men who first have their fingerprints scanned, their photographs taken, and their names, ages, and other details entered into a database.
For the first time, visitors to Britain are having their fingerprints checked when they enter the country as part of a biometric visa trial. Air passengers from Sierra Leone are the first to be screened using the new system at London's Gatwick Airport.
The Parliament buildings around the world have been protected by our technology. Major Hollywood blockbusters, for example, iRobot, featuring Will Smith, many years ago was actually featuring our FB300 door lock, which goes to show that the technology's not only been around for a few years, but it's been accepted.
But this is about making sure that our staff on the ground have got the right technology to back up the job they do, and it helps them do one of the most important tests they do, which is to check whether you are who you say you are.
Identify who they're actually dealing with.
Accurate identification is very important.
Identification and authentication.
You actually need to identify people from their biometric in real time.
Identify and neutralize terrorists.
It's rapid identification of the bad guys.
To track the bad guys.
We know there is no shortage of criminals, terrorists, or others willing to breach our security systems and expose identities to fraud and abuse.
Specifically with biometrics, especially because it's so closely connected to issues of security, it's more of a socio-cultural reasons that are determining particular frames being used as opposed to particular others. The government is trying to get access to all of that communication without needing warrants and subpoenas. Now it's we need to get information about you, not even because we have any evidence or any even base level evidence against you, but because it is required in the national interest and we don't need to give you any explanations. Okay? And when this kind of a thing is subscribed to strongly by much of the mainstream media, it's natural that the issue of biometrics does not get too much into issues of civil liberties and privacy, but it gets framed in that safety and security aspect more than anything else.
While the corporate media promotes biometrics under the guise of security, they report less on a significant threat to our democracy and the global village. That threat lies in the economic connections between corporations and our politicians. On September 21st, 2010, intelligence officials, IT business strategists, biometric technology experts, and public relations specialists convened at the Biometrics Consortium Conference. Supported by the National Institute of Standards and Technology and the NSA, discussions included biometric use by federal law enforcement divisions, in corporate arenas, and as well as its use in the school cafeteria.
Although biometrics is not widely diffused in the U.S., governments and corporations are pushing for its adoption. Lockheed Martin, a global security company, is currently developing and refining their biometric technologies. They are awarded billion-dollar contracts by the U.S. government through their lobbying efforts. In 2010, they awarded $6 million to Congress. Ike Skelton, chairman of the House Committee on Armed Services, received $44,000 from Lockheed Martin. Howard McKean, who also serves on the committee, received $51,000. The committee is responsible for defense policy and military operations. Meanwhile, several $1,000s were given to Benny Thompson, Gabrielle Giffords, and Charles Schumer, who co-sponsored House Referendum 2200, H.R. 2028, and Senate Bill 1490. Each legislation includes directives for the use and implementation of biometric technologies within the U.S.
Under these conditions, where the corporate media directs our attention to socially constructed reasons for biometric technology, while members of Congress are lobbied by military-industrial powerhouses developing this technology, the global deployment of biometric systems seems inevitable, lending itself to the undemocratic framework defined by McWorld. However, conditions can always change, and the change in prevention of surveillance legislation will require searching for information outside the mainstream narrative while participating in what remains of our democratic society.
Democracy, when it works well, starts bottom up and depends on citizenship and civil society first, and only later on constitutions, political parties, and institutions. So that if we think that way within national societies, surely we should think that way globally as well. The future of democracy, the future of global interdependence, and the future of a globalized democratic world will depend less on the quality of democratic leaders than the quality of democratic citizens. We need to globalize democracy or democratize globalization through bottom-up civil society institutions as a foundation, eventually, for genuine forms of political global government. Thank you.